Racing Louisville is hosting the Women's Cup for the third time in 4 years this month at Lynn Family Stadium. The field includes Racing Louisville along with clubs from Europe and South America. Here to tell us more is Vice President of Marketing, Jonathan Lintner. Great to have you back here.
Yeah, good morning.
We are becoming this international hub of activity all of a sudden. This is really great for Racing Louisville, right, as well. But tell us about these two games coming up, the 9th and the 13th.
Right, so the 9th on Friday and then the 13th on Tuesday, we have a semifinal and then a final round of this tournament called the Women's Cup. So that effectively puts us 2 wins away from winning a trophy, which is always a big deal for a soccer club. But just another way this summer that we've been able to put Louisville on the map through soccer. I was here a couple weeks ago talking about Louisville City hosting Eintracht Frankfurt and a friendly 10,000 people on a Tuesday night at Lynn Family Stadium.
Can you believe that? 10,000 people.
Yep, it was incredible. And then you go back a little bit before that, we were a team base camp site for the 2026 Men's World Cup, which we can of course touch on more. But with the Women's Cup, Palmeiras from Brazil, absolutely massive soccer club. We've seen it in the engagement on the social media leading into this. Juventus from Italy will be here. These are some of the biggest names in the game coming to play us, and it's a great opportunity. They're here during their preseason. Their season starts in August. We're mid-season. It's a great opportunity for us to beat these teams. We should be the favorite of this tournament, and to say a team from Louisville potentially beats teams like Palmeiras and Juventus, it's a really big deal. Right. So it's a good opportunity for us coming up this weekend.
It has to pump Racing Louisville up, right? Kind of to hype them up that you're playing against the best of the best in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's an opportunity for us to say, we're kind of the best, even though we're the newer club. The league in America on the women's side is really the gold standard. And so these other clubs will come in, and even though they have maybe the pedigree and the fan base and all the infrastructure of like 100 years of soccer, we have the quality of players, and this is a good opportunity to show that.
And we mentioned at the top of this segment too, this is the third time in 4 years.
Correct. We only took a break with the World Cup during the summer that would have interrupted
What is it that you think has kept them coming back? Saying let's go back to Louisville?
Facilities and fan support.
Yeah.
Anybody who's driven past Lynn Family Stadium or attended a game there, at the very least, it's like, oh, that place looks pretty cool. And then you get in it and you realize it's a great place to both play soccer. The field is immaculate, and it's a great place to watch soccer. You're right on top of the action if you're there, and people who come to our stadium for pretty much any experience, we have noticed they tend to come back. They tend to have a good time and come back.
So you were on like 2 weeks ago,
right
before the exhibition game, the friendly, if you will. I've learned some new terms here. This is so fun to learn about soccer. There was so much great publicity. I felt like going into that, there were people lined up for merchandise. Did you expect? I mean, they're a big deal, but did you expect 10,000 people to come out, people to be lined up, for there to be it felt like a lot of pandemonium around it?
On a Tuesday, you never know. But yeah, when you can get 10,000 people in Louisville, Kentucky to come watch professional soccer on a Tuesday, you kind of say, I think we've got something here.
Our director Dan mentioned too, he added to that, and it was stormy.
Yes, unfortunately.
and still.
Right.
And still they came out.
Yeah, and I think, I mentioned the World Cup thing, I mentioned Frankfurt, and then you have this. Not to mention another big piece of news that we had come out this week related to not just Racing Louisville, but Louisville City, our whole organization, that the U.S. Women's National Team is going to play this fall at Lynn Family Stadium. So we're on a roll right now.
You certainly are. And then after that, in 2026, you're going to host the team base camp for the FIFA Men's World Cup.
And we would hope
I feel like year after year, season after season, it's just ticking up.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's just ways to show some ambition beyond, hey, we want to field our own teams and go win the league. Is we want to do things that put Louisville on the map, and that kind of show off our culture and our city. You think we've brought now teams from Germany, Italy, Brazil, and Chile are all coming to Louisville this year. Nobody with any of those teams has ever been to Louisville before, and they come here and you give them a nice glass of bourbon and you start to tell them about the culture and show them things, and they go away impressed. And I never think that's a bad thing for our city.
Absolutely. And I feel like too, if you've never been to one of these games, before you get knee deep in UK U of L, this is a great time. I feel like the 9th and the 13th to come on out and experience what other people have loved about this.
Yeah, we've got a lot of soccer at Lynn Family Stadium this month, and that's pretty much by design. It's come on down, check us out before college football starts this fall, and see if you want to really make this part of your life. We've seen so many people come out to the stadium and just really fall in love with it. The next thing you know, they have season tickets, they have all the gear, and we get to know them and see them every week.
And it just certainly kind of puts a spotlight on Louisville associated with soccer for the whole world to see, to hopefully invite more.
Yep, absolutely.
So. Tickets still available for the 9th and the 13th. Come on out.
Yes, racinglouFC.com. You go to the website, it'll pop right up, the Women's Cup, ticket information there.
All right. Fingers crossed, great weather, but apparently it doesn't matter. they're still coming out anyway. It's so great to see you.
Yeah,
thank you again, and congratulations on the continued success. The games for the Women's Cup are happening the 9th and the 13th. Tickets still available. Just go to racingloufc.com/TWC.